Lesson 50, I am sustained by the love of God. If you want to open your book to that, or might have a sheet already, what a beautiful lesson. And to me, a perfect lesson to, like I said, in this Lessons in Light, but also to begin this Holy Week. And we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about, the Course only speaks of two particular holidays. It talks about Christmas, it talks about Easter. Two biggies, if we are knowing or understanding that this Course is from Jesus, because we would have Christmas, which would be the birth, and Easter, which would be the resurrection. Not the focus on the crucifixion, because it says in the Course itself, the only message of the crucifixion is teach only love, for that is what you are. So that we move past the idea of death has anything to do with a physical body. It has not. There is no death. The Son of God is free. And so we move to the resurrection, which is what we can experience every day of our lives. And that's what this lesson is about. We experience the resurrection when we place our focus where truth is, what we are truly sustained by. We have been taught now, we have a lot of ancient learning, as the Course tells us, that we've been taught we're sustained by everything else except God's love, right? What does this say? Oh, go ahead, Bud. Do you want to say something before we get started?
Well, the idea of being sustained, during the meditation, I expanded that to be, I am nourished, I am healed,
Yes.
I am protected,
Yes.
I am guided, I am, my soul is, all my activities are blessed by the love of God.
Yeah.
And it just expanded that whole workbook lesson for
Yeah,
me.
you're so true, because, again, that's kind of what it says in here. You think you're sustained by everything. You know, there's so much in this world. Well, let's read it. We can see it. Here is the answer to every problem that will confront you today, tomorrow, and throughout time. That's what you were saying, Bud. That's what you were saying while you expanded it. In this world, you believe you're sustained by everything but God's. And now that's the thing the Course says all the time. We have a lot of ancient learning. We've thought that we're sustained by so many other things. We're told as we are, growing up, you're sustained by this, you're sustained by that, you need this, you need that. And what this is saying is, in the form of the world, there may be things that you need, but that does not truly sustain you. That does not give you the life experience or the life that you truly want to live. That does not make you who you are. It says your faith is placed in the most trivial, and I love it how it just kind of trivializes all these things that we put a lot of investment in. The most trivial and insane of symbols, like pills, like money, like protective clothing, like influence and prestige and being liked and knowing those right people. And an endless list of forms and nothingness that you endow with magical powers. It says all of these things, and you add your own to that list, have become replacements for the love of God. And all of these things are cherished by us to ensure a body identification, to identify us with the form of the world. This is where we keep ourselves. They are songs of praise to the ego. Do not put your faith in the worthless. It will not sustain you. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to stop eating or stop clothing your body or stop talking to people or stop being respectful, to your bosses or to your employees. It means none of those things. It just says we still do all of these things within the world, but we are not sustained by any of those things. When you get to the end of when you're young, lots of things change all the time of who you like and who you know and who's important to you and the in crowd. I watched Jeffrey, our son is 16 years old, and of course, they've got to like certain things and you don't want to be different than anybody, and you got all these images you have to uphold and maintain. When you get to be our age, it's like, I don't care what anybody thinks about me, And you're to the place where, but we care about other things. We have other things that we invest with that. So, it's always kind of changing. So we can look at somebody else and go, oh, don't worry about that, but worry about this. Oh, don't worry about that, but worry about that. So things are constantly, even though we can see, as long as we're investing in this world, it just changes. The forms just change a little bit. But what this is saying is, it's not that we're not nice. It's not that we don't function in this world. Jesus functioned within the world. He walked through this world and he functioned with the people of the time. He didn't deny any of those things. It's just that he knew where his real sustaining power was. He knew what really fed him. He knew what really sustained him. And it was not the things of this world. And that's where, again, we don't deny anything. We just bring all of our thoughts to him and allow him to work through us. I am sustained by the love of God. I don't know how that's going to work in my life today, but I trust in the faith that that is the truth. And like Bud said, when he was saying it or when you were doing it, did you feel a sense of peace? Did you feel a sense of peace during the meditation? Well, that's what we want to carry with us. We want to experience that peace and then bring that into this world. You know, the purpose of the Course is not to run away and find peace. It says the purpose of the Course is to feel that peace within you, because that's where it comes from, not outside of you, but within you now, and then embrace every situation in which you find yourself with this peace. That's the goal of the Course, to bring this peace with you and allow it to embrace everyone you find and everyone you meet. It says only, so, and I love this, all of the things in the world that we sustain, that we place with a body identification, songs of praise to the ego, it says don't put your faith in them, they will not sustain you. I remember, it reminded me kind of empty calories. Have you ever eaten empty calories? No, nobody ever eats that. But Jeffrey, our son, loves, every time we go to the baseball game, he always has to get cotton candy. You know, and that thing is so big. Have you ever seen cotton candy? That thing on the stick, it's just huge, and it looks enormous. You know, he's never going to be able to eat all that. He doesn't have a big appetite anyway. Never be able to eat that. But what do we know about cotton candy? The moment you take a piece out and put it in your mouth, what happens to it? It dissolves, yeah? It's nothing. It's nothing. So, I mean, it goes so fast because it's absolutely nothing. And I think to myself, that's kind of the world. You know, the world looks so big, but it's absolutely nothing. And in the face of a meditation like this, where it says, I am sustained by the love of God, the things that we place our faith in, when you begin to bring them into this lesson, when we recognize what truly sustains us, don't you feel empowered? I know you did, Bud, because you feel empowered, right? That this is what sustains us, not all of the things of the world. Those things kind of begin to, in the face of this, dissolve, don't they? Sort of like cotton candy. It looks real big. But when it's brought to truth, it kind of dissipates into this nothingness, as the Course would say, from which it came. You know, so it's sort of like empty calories. You know, they don't really do anything for you. The world is kind of like empty calories. Now, again, we don't get mad at the world. We don't, because if you get mad at something, then it has power over you. You don't deny the world. You simply move past the world. You know, you just allow it to be there, and you gently move past it. Wouldn't you like to be like that all the time? That the things of the world just kind of move past you. They don't cling to you. They don't distress you. You allow them to come and move in and out, much like the way water comes in and hits the sand on the shore and then moves out again. Sometimes there's storms and it hits harder, but it always moves out. So it's just a flow for us. I am sustained by the love of God, just allowing it to flow in and out.